down here at the federal courthouse. We just watched a few of the marshals there raise a brand new flag on the courthouse down here. This is the second day of the closing arguments. But give us just a moment. There's a few of them here that's going to do the Pledge of Allegiance since we just raised the flag here. So.
Now we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance real quick.
Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Amen. There it is, guys.
So we'll get you. We'll get you an update.
He doesn't believe in the flag.
We'll get you an update here real quick on kind of what's going on so far. The defense has finished their. We'll go over here to the corner over. Maybe there's a little less wind. Try to get over here in the corner. Maybe there's less wind over here. I'm not for sure. Hopefully everybody can hear us okay. We had 3 more defendants. Their lawyers go up and do closing arguments. We had, so we're finished now. The prosecution's up there right now finishing up with closing arguments, and then today both sides should totally rest and the jurors should get this case. We are hoping and praying that the jurors actually start deliberating even as early as today, but we don't know that just yet. But Mr. Jackson, Greg Burleson's attorney, he gave closing arguments. Ricky Loveland's attorney, Perez, gave closing arguments. And the very last one was Scott Drexler's attorney,
Todd Leventhal.
Todd Leventhal. And he gave an awesome closing arguments. The best closing arguments, I almost feel, of all of it so far. It really wrapped this whole case up today. I was in there for most of this closing arguments. He got to play the video again, and he played it just perfectly. The video of Margaret Houston being thrown to the ground. He got to explain it in these closing arguments. Dave Bundy's arrest. Ammon Bundy being tased. All these things got brought up. The snipers up on the hill. All this got introduced. It was a fight that we've been trying to fight all along, and it got introduced today. Got a few objections while I was in there. The prosecutors tried to object to a few of the things that he was talking about, but all of that got introduced. He even asked, where is Dan Love? Dan Love hasn't been here in this trial. He was the one person that was part of the indictment that testified between the grand jurors. We did not get his testimony in here, and that was crucial. And so that was some of the stuff we got missed. One thing, and I don't know if I wrote it down exactly right, but Todd Leventhal said, you will never know what hunger is, or you will never know what poverty is unless you don't have it. It's the same thing with the Constitution. He said, your First Amendment right. Unless you need it or don't have it, you will never know what it's like to be without it. And I thought that was a pretty powerful statement from him, and he got objected to it, but that's what he said to the jurors. I'll let Andrea give you some more detailed updates here. We can actually turn that around out here.
Okay, so when Perez was arguing for Ricky Loveland, he used the Where's Waldo approach, because he said, you know, there's FBI agents that say they spent thousands of hours looking through all of these pictures, and they found a whole 8 photos of Ricky Loveland. He was never seen assaulting anyone, and no threats were made. He was running, what did he say? He was named a co-conspirator for running security for the Bundys. He had lots of things on Facebook, but it was mostly reposts. He went about talking about a person that posted to him about wanting to get into the militia, and what did he say? He said the entire part of the militia going to Nevada was to prevent violence and not to start it. That was a quote from his own Facebook that was brought in. He never pointed a weapon. They brought up the dots that they did, and they proved that Ricky Loveland wasn't actually on the bridge until 2:45, and so he actually wasn't there at that time. He quoted Parker. Parker says, "We jumped into a truck of a guy we didn't know," saying that none of these people knew each other. And then they talked about, because Ricky shared MOA's Operation Mutual Aid posts, and he said he was just trying to share messages and get people in contact with people who were organizing, I guess. He never said, "Grab your gun, go and let's go fight the feds." He shared the Bundys need help in Nevada. So that wasn't his Facebook words. He shared Ryan Page messages saying, "Here is the person to contact." So that's basically why he was sharing the MOA's post. Then we go into Jackson, got up and did the same thing for Burleson. He talked about how Longbow offered him alcohol, and that they were during the FBI interrogation, they offered him alcohol. All of them were offered it, but his client took it. He was the only one who had the weakness for alcohol, and the government may have been taking advantage of him while they interviewed him. And he asked the jury why they would give a man alcohol before they interrogated him if they wanted accurate information. And he said, you would give alcohol to someone you were trying to get inflammatory statements from. And he said the video evidence shows the government's narrative is untrue. When Leventhal got up, he said a part of his opening statement was that these guys didn't go because of cows. And that's why he brings in the Dave Bundy arrest. He brings in the Margaret Houston. He brings in the First Amendment zone. He was also able to get, what was that guy's name? The governor of Nevada at the time? His statements. And we didn't just get to see the headline this time. He actually read Sandoval, is that right? Sandoval's statement about, let's see, the BLM decides to corner off a small area in the desert to practice your First Amendment. No, that was what Leventhal said. I don't see it. He said that no amount of cows gives you the right to come and use guns and intimidate people. Talking about the BLM and how they were holding themselves. He also talked about the sheriff at the rally and what he said, and that people were yelling and cheering, and that you may not be able to hear everything. And then he talked about Cliven's speech, and he brought it to all of us. I want to say that his statement was very true for all the people standing there. He said, someone could get up there and say, "I want all the metal detectors taken down. I want all the marshals disarmed, and I want free food in the cafeteria because the people are hungry." And that was like basically restating what Cliven said about ask the sheriff to do for the BLM, saying what we would like people to do up there. And he says, obviously no one believes that that's going to happen. It's just a statement. He said that the government has not provided one piece of evidence that links Drexler to the conspiracy. After that, I did have to leave because Micah McGuire had his hearing in a different courtroom, and so me and two other people went over there to show him some support. We got in there, and we were there for when he got there, and they had us leave the room, attorney-client privileges. We were able to come back in for the end where she did grant his request for new counsel, and at 4 o'clock today you have another hearing where he will be appointed that new counsel. It was important for him to get a new counsel, so if he does go pro se and he has some problem in the courtroom, he's not immediately put back as this gentleman representing him. He wanted to get somebody else in there, somebody he felt like he would do better, and I believe he still is going to go pro se. I was able to get back in the courtroom for the end of Leventhal's, where he said both the heads of Metro and the sheriff did not come and testify at this trial. Why is that? Oh yeah, then he reads the Sandoval statement. No cows justify the amount of intimidation that is going on, the road closures and the heavy-handedness of the BLM. There is there is overwhelming doubt in this case. Does the court order to gather cows give the BLM the right to use force? And he ended his with, my dad used to say, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And he looks at the jurors and he says, don't fall for this. And he points at the prosecution. And that's how he ended his closing argument.
So overall, I think the defense team did very, very well. But what we have here is we still have these jurors that are fixing to go up there. And what we need from you all right now is the prayers. We need this country to fall on their knees and start requesting of God, our only hope here in this whole country, to turn this whole thing around. Because without a big miracle, we don't have anything here. The government has presented tons and tons of lies for 8 weeks, and they have done cumulative lies over and over and over again, trying to instill in the jurors' mind things that did not happen. The prosecutors weren't there. These officers that testified up here, the ones that were important didn't show up. The ones that weren't there testified here of things and Facebook posts and things that they tried to twist the words around to put incriminating evidence against these men that they didn't even do. These prosecutors don't know when them people showed up. They don't know if they had a conspiracy going. There was no conspiracy. The defense team did the best they could under the circumstances, and being rejected over and over again, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of objections, evidence that was not allowed that could prove these men's guilt, innocent, instead of trying to prove guilt of something that wasn't true. So anyway, we'll have you another update before the day's over with to try to let you know the actual schedules that we find out, whether we're going to still be in jury deliberation tomorrow or not, or it's going to be Monday. We don't know those answers yet. Hopefully sometime this afternoon we'll find out all those. But we know that it's going to go into the hands of the jurors sometime possibly today or tomorrow. So keep us in your prayers. We need prayer warriors all across this country joining together so we'll get a miracle in this case and these guys can go home sometime next week. And,
prayers from other countries are not exempt.
Exactly.
And once again, we have Micah's hearing at 4 o'clock today, so if you're around and you can come in, help us. There's only 2 benches in that courtroom, and I'm sure we could get it filled for him.
Awesome. Gavin agrees that the justice system is busted,
So yes. Well, thanks again for joining us. We'll be back this afternoon with another final update of the day. Again, keep praying for us. We're still standing down here strong. We had a lot of people down here again today, and we probably won't be back in the courtroom again after today until we get a verdict. And that's no telling when, but so the day is probably the last day of court, and the jurors will get the case, and we'll just be down here waiting for that verdict to come in. Thanks again. Have a good day, and God bless.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that flag, the ceremony.
Thank you for watching Unindicted Co-Conspirator News.